What's going on, guys? It's me, Tim, and in this video I'm going to talk about Cleanspark and Bitcoin. What's going on the chart there? It has been said in previous press releases that they aren't going to get to that 16 exahash due to the energy providers. However, I personally still think they will get somewhere to the teens, at least to about 13 exahash by the end of the year, meaning they'll probably be mining right around 800 Bitcoin per month when we get up to that point. I also want to bring up the halvings and show you what has happened in previous history during the halvings. And I know there's a little bit of worry, a little bit of fear regarding the miners. People saying, well, these rewards are going to be cut in half. These miners are facing a major headwind here. These miners are going to be pulling in half as much Bitcoin essentially. And while that is true, typically during each halving, Bitcoin's performance price-wise more than makes up for that cut in rewards. But let's get started on this video. If you guys like these, consider hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. If you want some free stocks and cryptos, links down below in the description, and anything I go over will be down below for you so you can check it out as well. And first off, across the board, you can see that we're kind of looking at a mixed day, mostly red, a little bit of green here and there. All right, guys, my camera is not working. I cannot get this thing to work without just freezing on me. Hopefully by the end of the video, I can pop back in. But for now, I want to show you guys the chart. And yes, we are pulling back a bit from 38,000. And now Bitcoin's sitting right around 36,700. If you told people a couple weeks ago that we'd be trading at this range, some people would laugh at you. And if you simply zoom out 1 month, you'll see that we were trading at 26,800. We've gained nearly $10,000 on Bitcoin's price in a matter of a month. And it always seems like people want more, like keep moving, get to 40K, get to 50K. It's not going to be a straight shot up. We are going to have pullbacks along the way. And keep in mind that right now we are quite a bit overbought. And I'm honestly anticipating and welcoming a drop down to the $35,000 range. Now it doesn't need to get there, but that would be a healthy little correction, a healthy bit of consolidation to see for Bitcoin. It would bring our RSI more neutral, and it would give us a chance on the next run up to have a substantial move upwards. If we tried to pop from here and break out a 38, it probably wouldn't sustain itself for very long, just seeing how overbought we are currently on the RSI. So what I want to see is a healthy pullback, if not at least a little consolidation around here, bouncing around the 36s for a while, kind of similar to what we did back here during the end of October. You can see on the RSI here, we were quite a bit overbought. We kind of traded sideways for a bit. That RSI was able to come down, was still overbought, and we saw a pop. To me, it shows a lot of buying pressure on Bitcoin, seeing that we're still experiencing upward momentum while Bitcoin is overbought on the RSI. That said, I do want to see that RSI level out a bit more, get more towards that neutral point so that we can really have a substantial rally ahead of us. But to me, Bitcoin is still looking absolutely amazing. And in my opinion, it's still a great time to be a buyer. Just keep in mind that that RSI is a little overbought. We could always, trade sideways from here, pull back a little bit, and that would be a great opportunity to dip buy. Now, I want to touch on the Bitcoin halving for you guys real quick. We have about 156 days to go, and we will get there before you know it. And I want to show you how previous halvings have looked. With exception of 2020, which we all know what happened right before the halving there. We did experience a pullback due to a once-in-a-lifetime health event. But looking at previous halvings, you'll see this anticipatory run up, and then the halving hits and we see a continued parabolic run. Anticipatory run up, halving hits, a parabolic run. In 2020, we started an anticipatory run up, and then we started pulling back, but then after the halving, we did have that parabolic run. I do expect something similar to previous cycles, not the 2020 cycle, but the cycles before it. This anticipatory run up, which is what we have been seeing. Of course, we'll have our red days, we'll have our pullbacks here and there, but in general, Bitcoin is moving up and to the right, and I do think that's going to continue leading up to the halving. And by the halving, it wouldn't really surprise me to be pushing towards $50,000. And I want to show you guys really quick just how valuable Bitcoin becomes, how much more scarce it becomes as halvings continue on. During the first 4 years that Bitcoin was around, every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoin was issued. And of course, with each halving, those numbers get cut in half. In the 2012 halving, Bitcoin went from 50 every 10 minutes to 25. In 2016, it dropped from 25 to 12.5. And in the 2020 halving, it dropped from 1250 to 625. And in our next halving, we're going to go from 625 every 10 minutes to now 3.125 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And one day in a future halving, we will be under that 1 Bitcoin every 10 minutes produced. Bitcoin is becoming very scarce. Now, I do want to touch on Cleanspark and show you guys that we are still upholding this trend. This ascending trend that began in the end of 2022. December 2022, we were trading right around 175. and we have respected this ascending line so far. Now, one thing you'll notice with Cleanspark is it does tend to play out its patterns. There are clear reactions in the market to these patterns, whether good or bad. You'll see that within this descending channel we've been in for a few months now, there has been patterns that have played out along the way. We had a descending wedge here. Once we broke out of it, we did see a reaction to the upside. We had a broadening pattern here. Once we broke it, we saw a pretty accelerated move downwards, a death cross, which causes a little bit more fear. Now, funny enough, this pattern, it seems like it ends right at the end of the year. I personally expect Cleanspark to be much higher than $3.60 and break out of this descending channel before then. But theoretically, if we didn't break out of this channel, you know, we could potentially be range bound until the end of the year if this pattern continues playing out and doesn't break. I would personally argue that if Bitcoin continues rallying in price, which I do expect over the next couple months, and we may see some pulls along the way, but in the end, I do expect Bitcoin to be higher than $40,000 by the end of the year. And if so, I do expect a run, a breakout of Cleanspark. Now, you might be saying Bitcoin's been moving up. Cleanspark's been basically doing nothing against Bitcoin. And I'll say that can only happen for so long. Bitcoin is tied to Cleanspark too closely. And for Bitcoin to run and Cleanspark not to run, well, it becomes even more valuable. The assets on the balance sheet grow in price with Bitcoin's growth in price. And while Bitcoin moves up in price, Cleanspark deserves a higher valuation because of its Bitcoin held, and of course because it's mining Bitcoin, and it's going to be making more and more revenue as Bitcoin increases in price. Basically, Cleanspark's been pulling down with small caps. I do expect this to not continue much longer. As Bitcoin goes up in price, it will start following Bitcoin again and outperform it. And from Cleanspark's lows, we're still up 113% from the bottom, whereas Bitcoin is up roughly 135% from the bottom. Cleanspark is currently underperforming Bitcoin, but I do expect that'll change as we really start rolling here with Bitcoin's price action. Now, unfortunately, I still can't get my camera to work. I'll try to figure out what's going on here. It could just be my cam link or something. Maybe OBS is giving me trouble, but it's really irritating. I hope you guys got something out of this video. Remember, Bitcoin's halving is only 156 days away, and the run has only begun. Now, you don't want to get FOMO, but remember, Bitcoin has a lot of moves to the upside to still make, and despite Bitcoin running roughly double in price, I do still think it's an extreme bargain right now. But thanks as always for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about what's going on. I know there's a lot of pessimism with Cleanspark lately, but for me, nothing has changed. This is still the top miner out there. Their all-in cost is best. Their hash rate growth during the bear market is best. And from a hash rate to market cap perspective, this is much more attractive than the other larger miners than Cleanspark, which to me makes this the top miner. Thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Sorry my camera's not working.